All right, that's everybody. Good morning. Scoot this down. I suppose I want to scoot you down first. Just slotting this thing down a little bit. There we go. Trying to get you a better view. It's been sliding over to the right for a while. Alright, so I got a little space down here at the bottom. Dropping the divisions up on here first. Alright, we got some more Blade Runner this morning. So happy Saturday. It's been a somewhat busy morning. Let's see. R is kind of in the middle. Good. Oh, I forgot to post my little thing in there. Let's see. Blacked out. Oh, most of this actually blacked out. But let's see. This goes there. And that's too wide. Lower. Let's see. Erasor. Some writing there, some lighting coming off the car. Some light coming up here. Alright, we got one sketched in. All right. All right. All right. Good morning. How's it going? Late demain. Good morning. Oh, that's good. Yeah, keep drawing hands. Yeah, they're all. Everything is worth drawing. I thought I would just change things up for myself here. So. It's important to keep up with all that. So. see. Yeah, it's just there to help you calibrate to see where you're at. So there's no, you know, it's there to help you kind of see improvement over time. Because it kind of shows you what you really aren't paying attention to. Like a classic kind of pretest for drawing is drawing a bicycle out of your head. And then if you go and look back at that original car, once you kind of get through everything, you'll hopefully see changes over time. And that's kind of what's important is that kind of that understanding you develop. Though I did have a student once, his like favorite thing to draw was cars. So he was already pretty okay at that. It was like his hobby. He was drawing cars. He liked cars. He was building a motorcycle, a cafe style racer type of motorcycle. So yeah, so you just go outside and draw a car. I feel like there's some cars in Hong Kong. Yeah, I mean, you got those flying skimmers, right, floating around the town, just like in Blade Runner. Yeah, so don't hesitate to go do that. Yeah, it's feeling pretty good with the inking. Well, so I say, this idea is, is to learn. It's not to do, like I said, I always tell students, right, like there wouldn't be a class if you were already good at something. So, it's okay to be bad at things. Wasn't particularly, I'm not even sure that I'm all that great now, but drawing cars and things like that, I'm okay, but I can always learn more. So, you know, uh, that's the way I approach it. I haven't really done that many film studies before, so um, we kind of have to be willing to fail, like say, fail forward. Um, um, got a loose hair on the tip. Probably pick something up off the. Yeah, just draw a car. Draw delivery truck or whatever catches your eye. When I do the live in class, I just send the students out to the parking lot for half an hour, and that's what they do. Um, Yeah, because that's a lot of, there's your emotional attachment to the things that you want to make, but there's also just, the practical element of learning how to do things. And um, yeah. Should, a lot of artists like, the trick with it is like leaning into failure, so giving yourself opportunities to see where you're going to have problems. Like, I've been on my own, really pushing myself to study Blender, the 3D program, as a tool for visual development. And I'm not really that interested in it as like a tool for, production level 3D models and animation and that. But what I really wanted for is, um, being able to like build out quick environments and let's see that in here. There. Um, and but in doing that, I've realized I do actually kind of need to learn some more of the technical things that I was hoping to avoid, because I kind of need to understand why a thing works the way it does. And so I was using, well, I'm still using to a certain degree, but I was using a set of Blender plugins that are really nice, called Quick Tools, and they make certain aspects of it easier, but they also keep you from getting into the more challenging, deeper technical parts of Blender, which is kind of the point, right? It's there to kind of keep you from having to worry about that. But at the same time, it kind of leads to certain kinds of frustrations for me, because I'm trying to achieve something very specific, and I kind of need to go in there and edit something. And I don't know how to do that properly, because the way that the program is built, or the tools are built, it kind of keeps you from getting into that. And so I've kind of backed off using them to do more my own kind of UV modeling, UV editing and creation, even if it's pretty basic. And then, some more of the box hand modeling over the kind of generic stuff. And I feel like once I kind of get that down a little bit better, it'll be a lot easier for me to kind of use the quick stuff on top of the slower stuff. So it's like my own little thing where I've been like, okay, well, this isn't really working for me as well as I would like it to. Let's see. But anyway, it's caused me these headaches, certainly because I'm trying to move things around or adjust things, because I kind of like things to be just so, and very particular to a certain degree. Um, there we go. But but I found some other tutorials and things from people who do the visual development side, which is what I'm interested in, who oil pastel, yeah, that definitely gets you dirty. Be sure to wash your hands if you're using any of the toxic ones, especially like the cadmiums. You want to be sure you're cleaning up really, really well. You don't have food around. It won't kill you necessarily, but it can make you sick. because they have all those toxic colors. I mean, like I use oil paint, so it's like I'm not really. So you know, I used oil pastels a long, long time ago. Like when I was in high school, but I haven't thought about them in a long time. That's like one thing you got to be wary with pastels in general is not breathing them in. 'Cause a lot of people who work with them, they have to like wear a special ventilation, and they often wear masks. If they're using dry pastels, just because some of those colors, well, just the dust in general, isn't really good for you. And then getting it all over your hands, maybe into your water, your drink, and your food, and other things is something to be wary of. So yeah, yeah. So don't put your pokey sticks out on the table with your oil pastels. Again, for most people, it's just don't eat your art supplies. Don't leave it on your skin. Um, Especially like if it affects everybody. Like cadmiums, they can affect your nervous system. If they get in too much, like they disrupt your nerve connections. Basically, kind of gets in there and blocks blocks them, which is why it causes people to go crazy. But for like, especially for women, like if you want to have kids, it can get into your ovaries, and if you absorb too much of it into your system, it can cause problems with potential kids in the future. So, but again, the big thing is just don't eat your paint, don't leave it on your skin. It's like if you just follow those like two rules, you're not going to get in any trouble unless you happen to be particularly chemically sensitive. Because even things like people talk about acrylic as being the safe one, but it off gases when it dries. So it has puts off like formaldehyde and is it chlorine or something like that. I mean, it's made out of you know petroleum products, so it's going to be not going to be great anyway. But well, I remember living in Hong Kong. I know people were eating in class. They were shoving those chocolate covered pretzel sticks in their faces. You can buy them here. I think you mostly just see the chocolate ones. You don't see all the other, maybe strawberry. You don't see all the flavors you would see in Hong Kong. But All right. I have spies everywhere too, so that's kind of a thing. All right, here we go. Number 2. Let's see. Yeah, all these students are always shoving food in their faces. I've noticed that over the years. You know, they're sitting in class and they're just snacking all the time. Let's see. Yeah, then there's me. I spent $50 on plants today to buy a couple of special house plants. Um, so if you want, potentially wasted money. But then I'm like, well, there's a scanner I should get that'll make my life a little bit easier, so I don't have to go into school to scan my larger pages. And it's like $350. There's one I've looked at that's a pretty basic one that would work for what I need. That's large because it will do over A3 sized paper, which I need for those comic pages. And I'm like, because then it's like, because it's a 5-10 minute walk to school. I'm going to do that today, walk up to school, get that taken care of. But then I did spend some money to turn my computer desk into a standing desk. I wouldn't mind getting this desk up a little bit higher and put it on blocks or build some kind of frame underneath it. Um, so yeah, it's a little late to be snacking. I mean, it's well after dinner time. You know. You haven't had dinner yet. It's getting late. You know, a fun fact. Before I moved to Hong Kong, there was no way I could even find it on a map. Like if you were to show me a blank map and have me look at it, I'd have no idea where it is. Which is kind of funny. London, Paris, maybe Berlin I would have been able to figure out. Yeah, Moscow I would know just because of Russian stuff. Um, but I know now. Yeah. Now I know what time it is in Hong Kong. Well, sometimes I get confused by the time of the year because we have the time change thing in most states. So right now I think it's the 12-hour difference. So um, that's like if I were to ask people to place Richmond on a map, they'd probably have a hard time with that. Washington D.C. they probably get. New York, maybe L.A., San Francisco, but all right. Let's get the light on there. Let's put the date on there first and the number. So I'm going to do 100 of these film studies. So we are up to 7 and 8. All right. How are we doing for time? 8, 9 o'clock? All right. Comes the white. Classic Harrison Ford. Of course. And people that worry about like getting their careers off the ground, I think his first movie he did when he was in his 30s, well into his 30s, he was a set guy. He worked on like making sets as a carpenter. I think he really didn't become a big star until he was in his 40s. He was always trying to be an actor, but it wasn't until his Star Wars debut that he became a star. I think he was late 30s, early maybe 40 or something like that. So people that worry about late starts, or even like let's say it's Winslow Homer, the painter. I think he was an illustrator up until his late 40s. Didn't become a painter until then. So I always like to point out people like that, just because some people worry about being late bloomers or whatever, and if you only get to live once here, then the only time you have to start is now. You don't have the past; it's already gone. Take advantage of it, but it's already gone. But the main thing that you have is the moment now. So that's like with the car thing. Like the longer you wait to get started, the harder it is to. The further away getting started happens. So if you start now, today or first thing in the morning or whatever, it'll get you there quicker than waiting 2 weeks. So that's something to kind of factor in. And it doesn't mean you have to do like all the things I would do or other people would do, but it does help to have like the thing you want to do. All right, I think that's good for this morning. It's been about an hour. Yeah, because again, you just have now. So, that doesn't mean you always have to be working on art skills or whatever. Like I spent the last couple days watching the what's it called, Andor series, which was really great. Oh, these are my public to Sam or publicist Sam. So this is just me doing some film studies. So it's a good way to practice your composition is to look at, especially cinematic composition, is to look at good film studies. So that's what we're looking at here. Actually, I'll do a little bit in here while I'm thinking about it. So these are just for my own personal practice, or as the kids would say, my personal edification. So it's good. Yeah, I have to get up. So what you'll see me do is like pretty much every morning I get up and I do an hour-long morning study thing. So I've had different projects I've done. So if you're to go dig through all the live streams, um, you'd see a number of different types of projects. So I've done a whole bunch of different ones, but this is one I thought would be good to do. Well, yeah. So yeah. So I spent the last couple of days doing Blade Runner ones. So like, there's that's what I've been working on. So tone paper is always nice to work on too. But that would be good just opportunity to kind of bring together a bunch of different things I've been practicing. It's very traditional kind of art practice too. So we do film studies. All right. I also want to practice a bit more expressive inking technique, and doing them as compositions helps too. So it's kind of I like to do my little study projects as a multiplier thing, where it's like it's more than just the one thing. It's several things working together. Try it, Bosch. Fix your ear there. There we go. I'm fidgeting with my ear. All right, well, that's it from me this morning. Appreciate everybody that came in, and we'll talk to you next time.